that had been telling me about Bitcoin for years, I didn't actually take an interest and start doing my own research and starting to figure things out and like really think about it until I had some crypto. And then I had like a little stake in the game.
Yeah, that's super important. I think something Andreas says that really sticks out to me is that he says that instead of giving away crypto or make people earn it, right? So pay your clients in crypto, and then people start asking that question. So it's really cool that you have like a real life story of hearing about it, not thinking it's that big of a deal, and then earning it, and then now like going down the rabbit hole. So in terms of now, you create a ton of videos, and I just want to show everybody really fast. Who probably you guys know her, but if not, I'm just going to share my screen so we can stalk her online.
Yay.
Because why not? Okay. So I've been so this is your YouTube. Very, very cool. Super clean. Guys, subscribe to her if you have not already. She has a little channel trailer for Girl Gone Crypto. But if you look at the stuff that she talks about and the people she talks to, Metal is... Woo! All right. I got people harassing me. They're going to come in later. I already know it. Near the end. I told them just wait till the end if they're going to come photobomb. Protect your crypto from hackers. Important. These are important topics. And what I really love about your channel is like, if you look at these videos, they're like 6 minutes, 7 minutes, 10 minutes. Our generation, we have a short attention span. So very, very cool. Do you have other people edit your videos, or like, how does your process work because I am interested personally in helping more women get into this space, just because I know that like, we're ladies, like we have such an advantage. Like we have attractive female privilege, right? And so if a girl or a guy, okay, let's say whatever, wanted to get their community, get their following interested in Bitcoin because they believe in the decentralized technologies, do you have any tips and tricks for them to break those steps down?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So just in terms of like video editing, I do all of my own everything.
Cool.
One woman show over here, which means I work many, many hours a day. So I wouldn't necessarily recommend it, but it's been really nice. I think that it's kind of cool to like figure things out and kind of learn how a process works before delegating it out. So maybe I'll get a virtual assistant at some point that can kind of help with a few of those things. But yeah, I do all the video editing and graphic design and, writing the copy, thinking of tweet ideas, doing the, all of the things.
That's cool, dude. That's really cool. This, honestly too, I'm just going to say this, like what I love is like, I feel like, obviously I'm biased because I'm from Washington, but I feel like people in Washington are generally like very well educated and they have a really strong work ethic, which is why I love Miami, because it's kind of the opposite. So like I can come here and just make things happen. But let me show you. So just while we're still stalking you. So this is your YouTube, guys. Subscribe to her if you have not already. Paul Pewey's a great person. And then your Instagram, of course, great stuff here. More of the beautiful Leia pictures. Oh, can you please tell us about why your name is Leia?
Yes. Okay.
Zoom in right here.
This is a true story. Like literally, you couldn't make this up. So my parents are really big nerds, and maybe that's where I get it from, but they named, so I've got an older brother named, oh look, there's you. I see your smiling face on my Instagram. There you go. But anyway, they're huge nerds, and so I've got an older brother named Luke, and so I thought it'd be really funny to name me Leah, and then
Leah. Okay, sorry, Leah.
Oh no, it's okay. Either way is fine. But yeah, my dad would literally walk around the house being like, "I am your father," and then he'd just like laugh at his own joke and like walk off, and that was kind of my childhood.
That's funny. That's super funny. I have my mask is what is it? It's
is it Wookiee? Oh no.
It's maybe, honestly, I don't know the difference between Star Wars and all of those space movies. I'm really not a person that watches TV at all, actually. So sorry, guys, but this is, I think, anyways, whatever. All right, last thing, we will look at your Twitter, guys. If you have not subscribed to her Twitter, do so. She's got 18.9K followers. This is social proof. And I think this is a lot of people's favorite videos, is this one you made of J.K. Rowling. And that's really impressive that you edited this one yourself, because it's pretty cool.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's actually it's kind of cool, like the way that the progression of, like, just to go back to talk about Steam It for like a quick second, is
Mhm.
I had a few years because I only started my Girl Gone Crypto channel like 10 months ago.
Mhm.
And so I had a few years of just doing random stuff like ukulele covers and, writing blog posts and maybe making like a little like video showing how I made this like dip or something. Like, it was all just random stuff, but like it gave me this learning ground to figure out, like, how do I design a thumbnail? How do I edit a video? How do I do these things? And so I kind of had a few years of like kind of low pressure, just posting on Steam It, So
Yeah.
so that's been proving to be very, very helpful for sure.
Cool. So now, what is your favorite cryptocurrency?
Well, Bitcoin. I mean, I have to
Yeah.
say Bitcoin. And
Praise to the mother.
I know it would be disrespectful not to. No. Um, so yeah, I think that, like, for me, I kind of had a little bit of a shift in my mindset after the whole 2017-18 run and then crash. Because when I first got into the space, this is really interesting because there's been different reports that like CoinMarketCap has put out saying that the majority of people start in Bitcoin and then move to altcoins. But I was the
Mhm.
opposite. So because I'd earned Steam first, and I just was seeing all of these altcoins pump. And so for me, it was just kind of fun. I was like, yeah, Bitcoin's cool, but like, which altcoins can I get that might get some cool action? And so I kind of focused on that. And then after everything crashed and I realized that I didn't know why I'd bought those ones, I didn't know anything about the project. Like, really, like, I hadn't done a lot of research, and it really proved that to me, that you got to know what you're investing in. And so I kind of shifted my methodology to focusing more heavily on Bitcoin in terms of my own portfolio. But then the altcoins I do invest in, to just really make sure I understand the use case behind them. I'm staying in touch with kind of like watching the team and watching development, so that if something's going to happen that I think might cause a massive price shift, I'm aware of it because I'm staying kind of in touch with what they're doing. And so that's kind of where instead of having a wider net, I've kind of narrowed it in a little bit more.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. There are, we were stupid. Yesterday we were like saying hashtag all altcoins matter, but they don't. Okay. But like in reality, there are a lot that do have a lot of use cases. I think that anything that's trying to say that it's sound money is not really sound money, but there are still a lot of use cases for blockchain that are out there. So definitely important. Now, if you want to name drop any of those cryptos that you like, this is not financial advice, so you can feel free to name drop. You can have to too, by the way.
So generally speaking, I have kind of looked at some of the larger, more OG altcoins, for the sense of stability, because I got pretty wrecked in 2018. I'm not going to lie. Like, some of those smaller ones I invested in.
Hey,
I'm
you're
like,
still here though. It's okay.
I know. So I really love Monero for a privacy coin. I really like the work that they're doing. But even just looking at, your Ethereum, your Litecoin, even like your Digibyte, like some of the more kind of like OG altcoins, I think are really interesting. But on some of the kind of smaller ones that I think are kind of fun, like obviously I love Hive. I've mentioned Steam It, but I've moved over to the Hive community and kind of gone with that community over there. And so I'm really, really excited to see how that all plays out. Just the fact that a community was able to just kind of up and leave. And in that, to me, like, really, we talked about, kind of like why we got into the space and our methodologies behind it and this whole like mindset of freedom and liberty. And to me, that really exemplifies that, because they didn't like the way things were going. So they said, okay, cool. You do your thing. We're going to go do our thing. And I just really love that. And I connect with that. So anyway, so I'm really excited to see how that continues to move along. I'm a big fan of EOS as well, and EOSIO. I actually really do like delegated proof of stake. And so I've been pretty interested in watching a few different DPoS chains.
Very cool. Yeah, the forking is just a great innovation, right? Until you get to Bitcoin, where it's like, oh, like we're a bunch of Bitcoins, but I don't mind as long as I get that forked coin and can sell it later. Anyways, so Hive is I assume because it's from Steam, it is a blockchain social media project.
Yes. So basically, when they forked the Steam chain, Hive is like almost an exact carbon copy. Like they made a couple of different
Okay.
tweaks in the code, but if you've seen Steemit and how it operates and the upvotes and the content, it's pretty much exactly the same, except now it truly is community driven versus what happened with Steam and the whole Justin Sun thing where the chain got centralized. Hive is fully run by the community, which is pretty cool too.
So what happened to DTube? Like, is there a DTube version on Hive?
So that's an interesting question. So all of the dApps that were built on Steam kind of had to make a decision on what they wanted to do. So did they want to stay on Steam? Did they want to move over to Hive? Did they want to have both? So basically, like as long as they just need to tell their nodes where to signal to, right?
Mhm.
And so a lot of the dApps came over to Hive because they were more in line with the community and wanting to go where the people were going. But there's a few that stayed on Steam, like Apix is on Steam. That's kind of like an Instagram type of dApp. But a lot of the big ones moved over. DTube, I actually think it was really smart how they did it, is they have it so you can post to their own DTube chain, that I think it's Avalon. You can post to Steam, you can post to Hive, so you can select which of the three or all three that you want. And I think that's kind of cool. We talk about interoperability. That's a tricky word, in the crypto space a lot. And I think that's great. Give people options, let them decide what they want to do. And then you can have a little bit of a wider net of people that might use your dApp.
Yeah, no, definitely. Give people options. Super important. Now let's wrap. We're going to be wrapping up a little bit because I don't want to run over time and we're going to stick to our 30 minutes. But you have a lot of knowledge in a lot of different industries that can use this technology, that can be disrupted by technology. And I like what you said when you track these different altcoins that you use, you look at the team, because that is very, very important in anything, even in the traditional world. It's like anybody can have an idea, but it's up to the individuals that execute that idea. So what industries, and you can mention which projects do you feel like are going to be disrupted first by blockchain technology and actually be disrupted by them, not just, IBM trying to shill more technology?
Yeah, that's a really great question because there's a lot of different kind of avenues that can go. I feel like supply chain is something that's talked about a lot in the crypto space as a really good use case. And I actually really do think there's a lot of promise there. One of the things that actually CryptoFiling and I chatted about on a recent stream we did was about beauty products and supply chain issues and how many just issues there's been with just counterfeit products. And I actually just interviewed someone that's got a company that's helping to bring blockchain to cannabis supply chain and how making sure that what's actually in those, packages when you go to a dispensary is actually what's in them, because apparently that's not always the case. Like 1 out of 5 times it's something totally different just because there's not really good tracking. And so I do think that having more transparency of products and sourcing is a really strong component for it. I actually think that healthcare is another really interesting kind of arena, like especially when we're looking at patient data and kind of improving the efficiency of letting patients really have more access to their own records and being able to potentially have blockchain solutions that lets them grant that to different entities and doctors and practices and hospitals and things, but that they actually have control of. So I think that's kind of interesting. I mean, I actually really do think that the whole social media component of things is a super interesting use case as well. We're seeing more and more censorship. More people are becoming aware of it,
Yeah.
which is huge. And so some of these blockchain-based alternative solutions like Hive, like Float, like DTube, 3Speak, Uptrend, Rebuzz,
We
like
have
all of these different places, right? Library. I think that really helps as well.
So hold on. Bunky wants to discuss the end of this conversation about girls and women in crypto. There's a big push for women in crypto, so I'm just gonna let him sit in. But you're absolutely right. I think when you say that one of the use cases where you will see change happen quickly in blockchain is going to be with decentralized or at least other social media platforms, because we are that community that want this change. We want other platforms than YouTube, other platforms than Twitter, other platforms than, please God, no more Facebook, right? So it's like, yeah, definitely. I think that you're going to see a lot of adoption in blockchain-based platforms, because for years I have been asking, give me an option. I know they're censoring my ideas, whatever it is, like give me another option. But here, I'm gonna, Monkey, you gotta listen, you gotta put one of these in. There you go. All right, Leah, welcome to our resident women in tech individual who's always pushing for women in technology. So to wrap this up, the last question is, and this might be a little controversial, but how do you feel being a woman in crypto? Do you feel like it helps you? Do you feel like you're a marginalized group? Like, how do you feel?
Oh man, that's like such a broad question, but I'll do my best to answer it. So,
Do you like it? Do you not like it? Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. I think, like, generally speaking, it's such a tricky question to navigate, because you say the wrong things and you piss guys off. You say the wrong things, you piss the other girls off. Like, it's a really hard thing to navigate how to respond, I think. But I mean, ultimately, I'm always a proponent of, helping to have more diversity and in the strength that that diversity can offer. And so, we look at companies even in the corporate world and how there's more of a push to have more women or have more people from diverse backgrounds on their boards and their executive teams. And I do think that when you have people from different ideologies and backgrounds and experiences, you're going to be stronger overall as a whole. And so just generally speaking, on like a really macro level, looking at our industry and how there are more women getting involved, which is super exciting.
Sorry. Continue.
But it's still, I don't know what the latest study is, but it's definitely still very predominantly male. And so I think that we just as a community grow stronger the more diverse we are. And I really do believe that.
What do you think, Bucky? More diverse, the more women?
I think we need more women that know how to code.
Yeah, that's actually a really good plan.
Because it's like, Yeah,
but men are the ones I feel like that can sit behind computers for hours. I feel like Leah and I are probably like, hey, like, let's be the front runners for this technology and help people bring into it and convince more people to be coders. But I don't want to sit behind a computer all day. Like, I sit behind a computer enough as it is, but to stare at a green and black screen, like, how do you feel?
I think that, just in general, people should pursue their passions. Like,
yeah.
I think that coding is one of the most valuable skills you could ever learn. Like, it will literally set you up for life. Like, you will always have work. You will always have things you can be doing.
From home.
From home. Yes, exactly. Yeah. So I fully advocate for that. But I also, like, for me, it doesn't personally sound as interesting. Like, I have way more fun making videos and doing stuff that fills my creative bucket. And so even though, like, coding is obviously really important, I think that everyone should just follow their own passions. And I think that's what's so cool actually about Bitcoin and blockchain and this whole industry we're in, is I really do think it's going to be powering the next kind of generations of wealth and different things. And I think one of the most beautiful things about that is then it frees up people's time to create and to build and to be doing the things they want to be doing. And so I think that's just kind of my general perspective, is like,
I guess my perspective is way out. I just look on and I see that you have this industry with a huge deficiency of technical talent. It's because everybody just likes to come in and just use a bunch of new buzzwords, and they find a new buzzword every 6 to 12 months, and then they talk about it and they do it all in the social media things. But there's very little, I think, technical talent, and it's like men and women. There's very little technical talent. Like for Solidity developers, you have a very, very small pool of people to choose from.
So if you need Solidity developers, please hit us up at theblockchaincenter.com. We have a lot of Solidity developers here that will help you build your project. DeFi is the big thing. How can we decentralize finance? It is a buzzword, but people are making money on it. So it's like,
but that's the thing. It's like another thing about passions is I used to be really passionate about crypto. I'm only in this for the money anymore. Like, there's no passion here.
You're in this for the Federal Reserve ending. Okay, anyways,
I ain't gonna do it.
But just to hold on, back on the topic of
buy Zap. This isn't financial advice, but yeah.
Back on the topic of females developers. Okay, so while it's very important, you made a good point, Leah, where you said that people need to do what they're passionate about. Don't feel like you have to fit into certain molds. If you like it, do it. If you don't like it, don't feel like you have to code. However, coding, the easiest way that I put it is coding is a language, right? You are speaking the language of computers. Now, if we're building programs and we're building apps and we're building what computers can do, it is very important to have female voices because we view the world in a different way. So when you're building an app, you're essentially building an extension of how you think things should work. And you do need that female perspective on how things should work. So I really suggest all the ladies, at least learn the basics. If you're a young person, you should learn how to code. It's going to be the new illiteracy.
Well, yeah.
I might learn to code someday. I'm not saying I never will. I 100% believe that it is an incredibly valuable skill.
Even with the decentralized governance stuff, it's like if there's voting built into all these systems and women don't know how to use it, that's no different than it was beforehand when it's just like, we're not going to teach women to do certain things. And I don't like that. Everybody should be able to learn how to do it.
And definitely
at least read a smart contract and just be like, oh, they put the mint function or the burn function. This is probably bullshit, Yeah,
because then, definitely important. I mean, and really it's like everyone's going to need them. If smart contracts become a thing, lawyers are going to need to learn to read code for their clients, or they're going to need to employ somebody that can read it and make sure that it's not bullshit, right? So coding is definitely important. Also, I missed what I was going to say, something smart, but I forgot what it was. But yeah, Leah, thank you so much for joining us. I don't want to run over time too much.
Awesome.
But guys, make sure you check her out. Leah, when I'm in Seattle, which I'm actually flying there tomorrow or Friday morning, we should definitely meet up. It's funny because I didn't know that you sing, but I love to sing. I can play the ukulele a little bit. I saw that you play the flute. I was second chair in flute all throughout high school and stuff. I haven't picked up the flute in years though. Both from Seattle, both loving Ron Paul and, in the politics sphere of a very liberal state for some actual truth. Now both in crypto. So we are definitely going to become friends. And
Yeah, awesome. It was really good to meet you.
More women in tech, guys. More women in tech. Thanks to everyone more women coders too. Thank you everybody for joining. And we will see you at 3:00. I have another stream with Drew and Johnny Dollar where we are going to be reading some Zero Hedge and painting and talking about some digital topics in a digital world. A lot of privacy stuff is happening right now behind the scenes. Leah, if you want to join us, let me know.
Awesome. Well, Eryka, thank you so much. And like you said, we have so much in common. It's blowing my mind. I'm really excited that we're going to be friends now.
Yeah.
Thank you for having me on this stream. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed our conversation. You do an awesome job. You're a great interviewer. This was really a lot of fun. So
thank you. Bye.
Bye, everyone.